Y'all, this right here, this is like all hands on deck. This is crazy. I just came across this video. I did a little deep dive myself. I had to go get into some stuff and just look at the page or whatever. But hold on to your butts, man.
Stop what you're doing right now, because there is a literal rapist rights group in Scotland at the moment that's harassing SA victims, so let's talk about it. This lovely bunch are called Justice for Innocent Men Scotland, or JIMS, and they're active on a range of social media platforms and aren't even hiding their crazy beliefs. They're genuinely on here claiming that jailing men for SA is some sort of conspiracy to break down the family unit and lower birth rates. It's really giving Handmaid's Tale, Gilead, blessed be the fruit. Here's a clip of that.
Break down the family unit, they're trying to control the population by decreasing birth rate, etc.
Now, Jims claims that they're not about attacking victims, but that's just not true. They have been assisting my rapist father in his campaign of illegal harassment against me. They've also been sharing his doctored evidence as a means to discredit me, and they've been making defamatory suggestions that what was proven to me by a jury to happen didn't actually happen. They literally have a mention of me on their official website claiming that I'm disgusting for posting photos on social media. Here's what they said. Take the most recent example of Ellie Wilson, someone who seems to believe that posing for photos and posting it all over social media somehow makes her empowered. All it does, however, is reassure me that she is more interested in likes and attention than actually addressing the real issues real victims face. This kind of performative victimhood is a slap in the face to those who have genuinely suffered and are seeking justice. They then go on.
They want her to become a shell of herself because that's what they all want. That's what these men want. They want the women who they victimize to become like so afraid and you know what I mean, to become weak and pathetic, that when a woman takes back her personhood and like is like, no, you're not going to stop me, they can't stand that. That's why they're trying to shame her for posting pictures on social media like every fucking body else does. Like everybody else does, but she can't do it because she's a victim, because she's a survivor. Fuck out of here.
To say that my disgusting behaviour is out in the open for everyone to see. First of all, how they can say that this isn't harassing victims is beyond me. Second of all, y'all sound really jealous. Like, yes, I look cute in my pics. Does that make you mad? By the way, reclaiming my image after something so traumatic is empowering. Also, who are they to say who are and are not real victims? Now, this is the real kicker. One of the founding members of JIMS isn't averse to posting photos on social media herself, so I guess it's only unacceptable to do it if you're an SA victim. I know that this woman has harassed and publicly disparaged the victims of her partner's abuse, and yet she's still out here being all pick me and claiming he's innocent. Now that's despite the police saying that he is, and I quote, an abusive individual who showed no remorse for his violent and abusive behaviour against these women, and also the fact that headlines like this about her man exist. If you go onto their FB page, aside from constant posts about me, if you look in the comments you'll find so many people trying to out victims of their partner or family members' abuse, even though those women haven't chosen to waive their anonymity. It's literally horrific, so please make sure you report them so they can't keep doing this. What the saddest part about all of this is most of the people behind it are women. And I get it, I'm sure finding out that your partner or son is a rapist is really horrible. I really feel for people in that situation, but the solution isn't then to go and attack their victims. JIMS are a dangerous group. They spread misinformation and lies on their social media, and they go after victims.
I don't know if you guys noticed something about that video though. The two people that she showed were women. Just keep that in mind. The two people she showed, like the most visible, like the faces of the organization or the group, are women. And they are women, like they're founders. They're actual like on the board or whatever you want to say, if you will. Yeah. Yeah. And both of them, is to my knowledge, I know one of them, she mentioned her boyfriend is in jail or something like that. But I think the other one too, like she has a man that's also is a sex offender, or or is in jail for being one. Something along those lines, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, there's that. There's that. So this is the one of the women that was on that she just mentioned. This is one of the founders.
We are called JIMS, and that's Justice for Innocent Men Scotland. And basically what we're fighting for is fair trials.
I've got my fiance in prison for something he didn't do.
You just said to me there that basically you think this is a war on men.
Yep, it's a political agenda on all fronts.
What do you mean by that?
So I mean that I feel like we're going back to the George Orwell 1984.
These laws that get put into place, it also gives people an opportunity to abuse it.
They're pitting women against men is what they're doing. And when you do that, what do? You break down the family unit, don't you?
Have you seen any of these traits that they're talking about?
So maybe this needs mention as well. So all these accusations, magically the women remembered that he has done something to them just as soon as me and him got together. But
she is making the claim that the only reason these women stepped forward was out of jealousy because they saw him and her together, and that's when they remembered that he was abusive or whatever towards them. But he's in prison for it, by the way. Like, to make the allegations is one thing. To be convicted of said allegations, completely different. And I'm not a fan of any justice system on the face of the planet, right? I don't think there's one justice system that exists, or, you know, in a whatever you want. I don't know. Maybe the only justice systems that I could think of that probably are okay are like ones in tribes or some shit like that. But like, you know, any of these, like, you know, like from these bigger countries or whatever, like, absolutely not. They're all corrupt, right? Every single one of them, some more than others. But when it comes to, there are certain crimes that I'm like, nah, they probably did that shit. They probably did it. And in certain countries, in America, if a black man is accused of anything, take it with a grain of salt. I don't care what the crime is. When a black man is accused of something, you know, the likelihood, and it's not because I'm a black man, it's just the way the system functions. Or a black person, black woman too. When, you know, when they're accused of certain things, you know, I'm always like, you know, let's see how this plays out, right? And that's not to say like I question the victims necessarily, but I'm talking about the system itself. Like there are black men, like the Lovely Bones woman, you know what I'm saying? Like there are black men, you know, you know, and then going all the way back to Emmett Till type situation, you know. So of course I'm like, yeah, that can happen. Right? Like I know that that's like a thing that can actually happen, especially with black men. But if you get convicted, I don't care what race you are, if you get convicted of rape, you probably did. I mean, like 99% chance you did that shit. 99% chance you did that shit. A white man in Scotland getting convicted of rape, absolutely. Like, why wouldn't I? I'm about 100% sure he did everything they accuse him of. There's no reason for me to doubt that. But she's trying to make it seem like, they just made these allegations after. Making allegations is one thing. Getting convicted is a completely different thing, man.
Then also, so there was no proof in court. That wasn't mentioned in court either. And that person then said, oh yeah, she told me that.
So it's hearsay.
Yeah. And that's it.
So now we've got a man in jail for potential hearsay.
Yeah. The other complainer had no witnesses whatsoever.
And that is why we feel the public need to wake up, especially the males.
It's kind of like a double-edged sword right now because this could enable a lot of people that have vendettas against ex-partners.
And that's what's happening.
And
It's, as I say, on all different fronts, but especially on this just now, I feel like they're trying to break down the family unit, they're trying to control the population by decreasing birth rate, etc.
I mean, divided people are easiest to control.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like this is the ultimate divide, men and women. And it's because it's just everywhere, you know, countries against countries is not enough.
Is she trying to say that they're locking men up in jail for rape to decrease the birth rate? What the fuck? It was so odd listening to her mention George Orwell, 1984. That's what we in, but for women, it's the opposite. Darvo.
So there's a group in Scotland that advocates on behalf of convicted rapists, and the more I've learned about this group, the worse it gets, so let's talk about it. Now, a bunch of you watched my last video on Justice for Innocent Men Scotland, or JIMS. So I've been given a bunch more information on some of the rapists that they're advocating for, and honestly, some of these cases are atrocious. In my last video, I mentioned how one of the JIMS director's partner is currently in jail for raping 2 women. But did you also know that one of the other spokeswomen for JIMS, the one who said that convicting men for SA was just a plot to destroy the birth rate? Well, she also has a partner who's in prison for SAing not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 women and a child. Honestly can't imagine standing by your man, especially when some of the allegations were allegedly against some of her own family members after all of that. Now, JIMS has responded to my video and they've said that all they care about is free trials, but if that's true, then why are they supporting these rapists and saying that their victims are lying? What they claim to care about doesn't align with what they say and do in reality. Now, JIMS are currently playing the victim and saying that I've led a hate campaign against them, but bear in mind that I first learned about JIMS when they came after me, saying that I was disgusting and not a real victim on their official website. In the past week or so, they've made at least 3 posts about me on their official platforms, sharing the offensive and defamatory content that is being shared by my rapist father in an attempt to undermine me and humiliate me. This includes sharing private messages without my consent, many of which have been edited and doctored. Bear in mind that my rapist was convicted in court by a jury based on significant evidence. Most of this was actually my rapist's own words because he'd confessed to multiple people, including his own father, who JIMS is now standing by. In the last 24 hours alone, they've made numerous public comments on my rapist father's defamatory posts about me, even suggesting that I was some sort of spy that was sent in to seduce my rapist and then get him arrested. Since finding out about JIMS, I've realised that I'm not the only victim they've gone after. So many other women have got in contact to say their lives were made miserable by this group, who stood by their rapists, said they were lying, and some have even been threatening to expose some of the women who haven't waived their anonymity. Now, I have seen that some people have been sending JIMS hate, and I don't condone this because some of it has gone too far. I'd never condone threats. But what I do condone is using our voices to stand against the ideology of JIMS and to say that we stand with and we support survivors. JIMS are due to have a protest on the 9th of September in Edinburgh, so I say that we arrange a Stand With Survivors protest to show where Scotland's moral compass lies. Spoiler alert, it doesn't lie with convicted rapists. And finally, my message to JIMS is this: if what you want is just to fight for fair trials like you're saying, then that's fine. No one's stopping you. We're stopping you when it comes to going after survivors. And remember, JIMS, if you didn't want all of this negative press in the first place, then you shouldn't have gone after me and sided with my rapist. Because did you really think that Ellie Wilson was going to let that one slide?
If all you guys want is fair trials, then why wouldn't you go after the system? Why are you going after the victims? Why are you going after the survivors? If all you want is fair trials, what the fuck can the survivors do about it? Here's what I'm saying. Let's play devil's advocate in this instance. Let's say that all the victims are lying, right? Let's say they're lying. You can't stop people from lying, though. You see what I'm saying? So, like, there's no need in attacking the victims. They're gonna lie. That's what people do, right? You guys are saying they're liars. Cool, they're liars. There's nothing you can do about that. The onus has to be on the system, though. Right? You guys should have way more posts talking about the system, talking about the legislation, talking about the politicians. Talk about that. If you want, like I'm saying, like to her point, that's fine. You want it to be more free. You want the trials to be more free. Fine. Fine. But the way to go about that would never to be to attack the victims, right? Like y'all are calling them the victim. Okay, cool. You don't think they're really fucking victims? Fine. But people are gonna lie. People are gonna be people. Humans are humans, and all that shit that you guys like to say about people, right? Cool. What the fuck does it have to do with the system, though? Just because I lied doesn't mean the system has to lock you up. It's still, the onus is still on the system. The onus is still and always will be on the system. So attack the system, not the people, if that's what you were actually in it for. But obviously, you're not. Obviously, you're grape apologists. Some of y'all are grapists. Dude, I went to their page and I clicked their following list. Amazing. Amazing. I went to the Facebook. I went to the Facebook page. I clicked the following list. Crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. Crazy. The people that follow them, that I don't have any words for that shit. Let me put it like this. They are who you expect them to be. It was a couple in there that threw me off. Like it was one of them was like a 20-something-year-old like real young woman. And I was just like, is she following them because she thinks they're disgusting? And you know what I'm saying? Because you could follow pages like that, you know what I'm saying? Like to, you know what I mean? Like to track them. I don't have a problem with that. So I don't know. And I went on her page and I was trying to see like if she was saying some weird shit. And she just like one of the things she did was she reposted that video with those women talking about that shit. And I was like, oh, she actually believes this shit. So maybe she got a boyfriend in jail too, who's a fucking rapist.
So Jims, the group that advocates on behalf of convicted rapists, has now turned off all of their comments and they've also responded to my video. The crazy thing is Jims, the rapist rights group, has decided to apparently report me to the police because I made a TikTok video about them. Not only is there no crime in making a video about a public group, but it's also really ironic that they're claiming that I've been harassing/abusing them when they were the ones that made a bunch of seriously offensive comments about me, including calling me disgusting and implying that I am not a real victim. I guess they're happy to dish it out but can't even take 1% coming back to them. Please bear in mind that I had never heard of this organisation until I found out that it was sharing the defamatory and offensive comments that my rapist father has been sharing about me and which are subject to a criminal investigation. It was then after doing more research into them that I then found out that they had an entire section of their website dedicated to me and had numerous social media posts that said really horrible things about me. One of the gym's directors who I mentioned in the video seems to have a problem with me personally mentioning her, yet she had no issue with personally mentioning me. And not only personally mentioning me, but also insulting me. They're now saying that they don't want to get drawn into some sort of confrontation with me, but they started this. All I did was use my platform to show people what was going on publicly anyway. Finally, the director of gyms said that I am jealous of her. No offense, but I don't really see anything to be jealous of. I believe that there is a place for support groups of family members of those who've been convicted of crimes because honestly I think it's probably a horrible thing to go through, having to deal with your family member being convicted of a serious crime. But the correct response is never ever to go after victims. Once you've crossed that line, you lose all sympathy. So Jims, I'm happy for you to do whatever it is that you want to do, just so long as you leave victims like myself out of it.
And also something that's like interesting and funny about what's going on with this scenario is if you go to their page, they have videos about that one about Ellie, right? And they were like mad, or they tried to like they made a video and they clipped up a bunch of, I mean, the video is pretty long. It has a lot of clips. So they got all these like hate comments or whatever, and they're like, this is disgusting, this is vile, and all of that stuff. And I'm like, how would you expect people to respond? Like, let's be for real, bro. Like, you are denying that these women were fucking raped. And then like other survivors are like, yeah, I hope you get raped. I hope it happens to you. I hope you get killed. Like, I'm like, how would you expect them to respond? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Like, how are you the victim here? Like, I don't get it. Like, somebody slapped you in the face. I mean, you slapped somebody in the face. No. It's not even that. Somebody, you're standing there with the person, and then somebody runs up and slaps that person in the face, and you watched it happen. You know it happened. The person runs away. The police come and says, hey, what happened? And then the person goes, well, I got slapped in the face, and there's my witness. And then you go, no, actually, that's not what happened. A person was running by, and he flung his head and hit the person intentionally. So he's actually the perpetrator here. Like, and then imagine that, like, how would you expect that person to react? To be like, oh yeah, that's okay. They're gonna be fucking livid. They're gonna be like, what the fuck? Hell no. They're gonna want to fight you, they're gonna want to bite you, they're gonna want to harm you. And that would be completely understandable. Completely understandable. And you guys know that. You know that that's like, that's a natural reaction. You know it is, but you just want to have this victimhood. You have this victim mentality. Like you guys are the victim, trying to turn yourself into the victim, and that's what people like this do. That's why that's why it's like, I'm not here to tone police anybody at all. I don't give a fuck. Say whatever. I completely understand, but I'm just pointing out the fact that they poke and prod, and then when you respond, they use it against you, or they try to, at least. So it's important for everybody, when, you know what I'm saying, when you see that stuff, just mind your fucking business. Like, if somebody, if I, you know, I live by the old adage of like, see a Nazi, punch a Nazi type shit. So, you know, there are certain people that don't deserve to be in polite society. And if you are a fucking rape apologist, I don't care how people respond to you. I don't care if they threaten you with bodily harm. I don't care if they wish death upon you. I don't care. I don't care, because you don't care, and you actually are causing people harm. You're causing like the general population of women harm, and they're talking about you specifically. Totally different. Yeah, fuck you. Like, I don't care. I would never judge them for doing it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if they actually. Nope, I ain't gonna say that. I don't care. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. I almost said something. I almost took it too far, but I don't care. Oh, I almost forgot. This is a petition that they have on their page. It only has like 715 signatures as of now. It needs like 10,000 or something they're looking for, but it ain't gonna hit it. Anyways, here's the petition. Require the accuser in rape cases to hand over their phones to the police. This is their premise for this. They said, in some rape cases, the accuser may withhold evidence in the form of text and messages. We think the accuser should be required to hand over their mobile devices to the police. In some cases, if the police had asked for the accuser's phones, we think they would have quickly seen that the accuser is lying. We think we need the government to put into place a law that an accuser should hand over their mobile devices from the start of the complaint being reported. We think just doing this one thing could help stop so many lives and families being destroyed. We think false accusations have had very serious consequences for the accused individuals and their families. Wow. Absolutely not. You guys could go, they can do this. All they have to do is get a subpoena. All they have to do is get a warrant. That's it. You can require them to do it. It's called a fucking warrant. It's already a law in place. A victim shouldn't have to turn over their phones to the authorities, though. Are you fucking crazy? Are you nuts? You guys, that's a dumb question. They are unstable. This is batshit. This is batshit crazy. Imagine you call the police over to your house because you got robbed, and then them being like, hey, let me see your phone. Like, just out of nowhere, like, not like just because like that's the law. Like, and then we need your phone too, because we need to make sure you didn't have anything to do with the robbery. What? Excuse me? Absolutely not. The reason why they want this to be in place is because this deters victims from coming forward. This is a breach of privacy. And if this passes, these people are so dumb, it's going to set a precedent. This could go to so many other things way beyond this. Like I just pointed out, if I get into a car accident and I'm like, yo, somebody hit my car, it's a hit and run, and then the police show up and they go, oh, let me see your phone. I got to make sure you didn't have anything to do with this. No. Imagine that. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's nuts. And they know that, but they just want to deter women from stepping forward, or from victims, because it's not just women, it's children too. It's men too. They just don't want victims to step forward.